Welcome, friends. Welcome back to our exploration of KFC. Testing is in full swing of our spice mix. Getting closer with the spice mix, still not there yet. But one of the variables that I need to test is the change in the way the chicken gets into the fryer, the breading process. Working in television commercials, I did a lot of ads for KFC, and every time I did an ad, the method changed. And when I say the method changed, the breading process changed, dipped in milk, dipped in water, put into a tumbler and tumbled. Sometimes it was breaded, put on a tray and stuck in the fridge before freezing. Other times it was breaded and put right into the fryer. And they sort of swung back and forth. And things that went away came back, and things that came back again went away. And so it seemed like it was a process that was constantly in flux. Today we're going to do two methods, and I want to see if either of these methods affects the crunch or the crust on the outside of the chicken, but more importantly, will it affect the flavor of the chicken? The first one we're going to do is this version from the 1950s, late 1950s, early 1960s. There is a very famous clip of the Colonel on the Tennessee Ernie Ford show making chicken, and he talks about the process that he does.
Now, the mixture that the chicken was in, what is that, milk and...
That's milk and egg wash, yes.
Milk and egg wash.
So it first went into a milk wash with eggs, and he says in some other articles that he only used whole milk or skim milk or partly skim milk. And he says all three of those at various points, so I'm just going to go with our regular 3.25 milk. He uses cake flour. The spice mix goes into the cake flour, and salt goes into the cake flour. It gets mixed up and then fried. And I'm going to compare that to a version that I'm just going to call the 2000s. At some point, they went to dipping the chicken in water instead of a milk and egg wash. Still cake flour. Still has the spice mix, still has the salt, but the milk and the egg are replaced with dried milk and dried egg. And those go into the flour and get mixed in. I'm going to do the 2000s version first. So I'm just going to put chicken in this basket. I've got cold water in this tub. And we'll do 5 pieces. Let's do 5 pieces. And so it just goes in, and you want to get it wet. You want to get the chicken wet. You want to get it coated with water. It's really not a whole big deal. Out of the water and shake it. And there's a number of times that you're supposed to shake it. That, to me, is just a training mantra to make sure that you get people doing it the right way across all restaurants. And into the flour. And once it's in the flour, you have to use your hands. That's the best way to make sure that it's fully coated. So you turn it, and you make sure that everything gets flour and spice mix all over. And then we pull it out and just knock off any excess. Okay, into the fryer basket. And into the oil. Give it a couple shakes just to make sure that nothing's sticking. On with the lid. Okay. I hate deep frying. Have I ever told you that? I hate deep frying. Okay, into the oven while we fry the next batch. And so we're going to call this the 1950s version, which is milk and egg for the initial wash. I'm going to finish that bag. And I'm going to put in 3 eggs and see how that goes. There's no mention in any of the literature what the amount of egg to milk was. So I think 3 for this amount of milk should be fine. And if it works out really well, then that's something else I need to tinker with. And another 5 pieces of chicken. Right, and it's not a marinade, you're just trying to get the chicken wet so that the breading sticks. Okay, out of the milk and the egg. And into the flour. Toss. And into the fryer basket. And same as before, into the oil, give it a bit of a shake so nothing's sticking. Tighten down the lid. Okay, one last test. I'm going to do a hybrid between the two methods. So we're going to dip it into a milk and egg wash, and then we're going to put it into the 2000s breading that contains the egg and the powdered milk. And just see what happens.
Oh, Glenn, it is hot in here.
It is a lot of pressure frying.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, friends.
So we've got four examples. What each of them are is written on this little piece of paper upside down, so we can't see
I'm not
it.
supposed to look. Okay.
2 of them I know what they are just because I was here all day working.
2 of them look distinctly different. Like these 2 kind of look the same.
Those 2 look the same. And so what we're looking for is just a taste test of the coating.
Okay.
3 of them have exactly the same spicing, and one of them is KFC.
Okay.
So it's do any of them taste the same? Compare and contrast.
Okay.
Gonna start with this one?
Sure.
Okay.
They're still nice and hot.
They are.
That one's pretty good. I like the coating.
Yeah.
Tastes pretty good.
Coating's nice and crunchy. Here's the thing about that pressure fryer. That chicken is juicy.
Yeah.
Like it really does lock everything in.
Yeah, I leaned over in fear of dripping.
Yeah. So try this one next.
Sure. That one seems like it's still really hot. Mm-hmm. Am I going to be okay? I'm a little worried.
It was hot.
Am I going to... That one's very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar in texture,
Yeah.
right? Put that one there.
Okay, this one looks
Completely different.
Yeah. I get the spicing more on this one. Like I can taste more flavor from the coating.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's any more or less crunchy or
No.
any of those things.
No, it's
Okay.
from a coating level, it's as crunchy or not
They're
as crunchy.
all very similar.
But this one I get more flavor coming through than I did with either of those two. And then this one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to guess this is the KFC only because it everything else has like big chunky spicy bits sticking out, and they would have a more refined. So that's my guess, but let's see how it tastes. I think if you threw any of them in front of me, I would totally buy into what you're selling me.
Oh yeah, I would
Like-
eat. Yeah,
I can tell them apart because they're I can tell them apart because
'Cause
I'm
you
right
could-
here looking at them, tasting them.
you're tasting them one after the other. But if
And
any
even
of
then,
these,
if I closed my eyes and you gave me one, I don't think I could tell you which one it was. I really don't.
and that's good. So blindfolded, they would all pretty much taste the same.
Very,
although,
very similar.
Although one of them to me tastes better than the others.
But I think if you were blindfolded,
If
you
I was-
wouldn't be able to say, oh,
No,
because it's very subtle.
Yeah, if I was blindfolded and didn't know which one you were handing me, they would all be almost the same. But if I had to rank them,
Oh,
these two would be lowest on my list. There's something about the coating that masked the flavor of the spicing to me.
okay,
This one would be top of my list
okay,
because I did get more spicing,
okay.
and I know that this one's KFC.
I kind of guessed that one. Now I'd have to go, to really tell it, I'd have to go head to head and
Go back and
yeah,
forth,
back and forth
Yeah.
between the two, just to. Yeah, the spicing really is the same.
Yeah. We're getting close. Okay, so let's
I'm just
look.
gonna keep snacking.
Let's take a look. So the ones that I rated lowest, this is the 1950s coating, so dipped in milk and egg wash and then into flour and spicing. This is the hybrid, so milk and egg wash and then dipped into the spicing mixture that had the powdered milk and the powdered egg.
Okay.
The one that I like the most is the one that was only dipped in water and then mixed in and then dipped into the breading that had the powdered milk and the powdered egg. So there's something about
The simplified.
yeah,
Is it
there's-
simplified? It's just not. It's water versus milk.
so there's still milk and there's still egg. They're just added in a different way, and you get a different coating. The color is
Yeah.
the color is closer to the KFC.
It is, but I think most people would affiliate this with,
This is homemade,
yeah, with,
Homemade,
with
yeah.
fried chicken. That
and then of
golden
course
color.
this is the kernels. So I'm really surprised. I'm actually totally blown away that I liked the one from the 2000s, or the one that we're calling sort of the contemporary, the current version, because it's more processed.
I would say that I would be happy with any of them.
Yeah, I would eat any of them, and I think in our next video, the next iteration, I think we're getting really close with the spicing.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're bang on with the spicing.
I think there's one component that I'm going to bump up to see if it brings out the other flavors, and that's a little bit more MSG. I know they're using a lot of MSG. I'm using a little bit of MSG. I think if I bump that up, all of the flavors will
It's like adding just a
bloom.
little bit more salt.
A little bit more
Pulls it
salt.
out.
It'll bloom. But I am going to go with this breading method against all of my willpower because I thought that it was going to be horrible, but it actually isn't.
You can't.
You know, when I picked up the egg whites, they were 75% off
Because apparently no one buys them.
because no one buys them. No one buys them for home use, so they were like 75% off, and I thought, oh my, what am I getting into? But, so, the next KFC video won't be as far away as this one was, but it'll be a little ways off because it takes a while for testing.
I will say though, I will add though that although this is your favorite,
Yep.
because they're all really good, you could bump up the spicing in these just by bumping up the spicing.
Yes.
And you could make that, and so if you don't have all of those things, and what you have is milk and egg, this is great.
Yes, and so that might be a road that I go down because I might actually at some point take out the pressure fryer because nobody's going to have a pressure fryer. and I know that frying in a pan or pot
Is different.
is a different challenge, and so the spicing and the breading needs to be different to meet that challenge, and that's even farther down the line. So, thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
Take care.